with me. I'll do it when I get a chance.
Yeah.
Contrast gets a little lousier as years go by.
How have you been? You look good.
We thank you all for coming. And who is not a member of PHSNE who is here? A couple of you. Welcome to the group. Who is a PHSNE member or new PHSNE member who's been here for the first time? Got a regular crew of people. Okay.
The dates are the April 17th. It'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning. We've got about 50 tables already sold. I'm expecting a sellout of about 75 tables. It'll be fully sold out. And it's the place, it has become one of the places in Boston to actually buy film camera equipment, some digital, but not much, and images as well. So if you have any interest in photography at all, particularly what is now called analog photography.
I'll begin on the left side. Anybody from the back? Anybody in here with something?
Sure.
After more than 35 years as an editor there, I've learned to repress my ego and tell people, ooh, ooh, look what I wrote, look what I wrote. But I will make exceptions from time to time.
I don't blame you.
The fourth edition of the Focal Encyclopedia of Photography, which was just published in 2007, David Malin and I wrote the entry on astronomical photography, which is apropos today's talk, obviously, with John. So if by any chance, when John gets done speaking, if there's missing gaps there that you want to fill in, you might want to refer to the encyclopedia. I'll also be sitting in the back fact-checking as you guys
collect photography-related books, particularly the U.S. Camera annuals. U.S. Camera had a particularly good run, from say the beginning of the 40s through the mid-50s. This is a 1964 U.S. Camera annual, so it's a fairly late one. And what's in it is interesting for us today because the U.S. Camera Achievement Award for 1964 went to James Webb, and that's the James Webb Space Telescope. Here's the guy. He was he wasn't a scientist. He was the talented administrator that was, I believe he was the second administrator of NASA. So he was the guy who kept NASA funded and up and going through the Mercury and Gemini projects. He was the...
I picked this off of Craigslist a couple of weeks ago, and it hasn't seen the light of day in 20 years. This is a Celestron, or Celestron, I don't know which one. It's based on a C5, which is a 5-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain lens. But this was made as a camera lens by a telescope company. They're pretty rare. If you Google it, you're not going to find much. I was ecstatic to get it. The front of it's all hazed, and Dick Coolish and Dennis DeChico gave me some real good thoughts on how to disassemble it. I hate taking stuff apart without knowing, at least a little bit.
Well, not a show and tell. If you go to the internet, Popular Science, a magazine that I read years ago, along with Mechanics Illustrated and Science and Mechanics and Popular Mechanics. Popular Science has archived 137 years worth of their magazines, and it's free. But when you go to that homepage, don't use the search engine up top, use the one down the bottom that says Search Archives. And I looked up Tucker Automobile, and there was 11 pages from 11 different issues of Popular Science. It's a fascinating site, and I almost wish I hadn't found it. Because, you know.
This was actually my uncle's camera.
That's an analog camera.
It's an analog, very analog. And I've had it for a while, and I've made a lens board for it, and I also put a couple little shims in the back so it takes modern 5x7 film holders. But I need to find the tripod, which is this weird thing. See, this is the top of the tripod built into the bottom of the camera. So I think that The tripod legs just have little,
You squeeze them.
yeah, you squeeze them and put them on.
Been very, very busy giving talks lately. We heard you just, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago?
I don't remember.
At the Astronomical Society of Southern New England, which meets down in Rehoboth, Massachusetts. So John has been very, very generous with his time. Hence, when he said, when we asked him to come give us a talk, originally we were thinking of our usual meeting place, but when he pointed out that we could see the toys if we came to him, we came to see him and the toys. So without further ado.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming, all of you. This is one of the nicest groups that I've ever had a chance to speak to since I became a teacher here about four years ago. And I don't know what that's saying about my students, but this is a day school, a private day school, actually two, Southfield for girls and Dexter for boys. I teach mainly high school science, physics, astronomy, though I teach a little math too. We share one campus, but the classes are single sex, so they don't fight with each other or distract with each other or whatever the negatives can be if you mix them up too much. But it's a wonderful place. Dexter's been around about 80 years. Southfield, I think, is only about 15 years old. And our high school is really brand new here. I think we have been graduating seniors only in the 4 years that I've been teaching here. But enough of all that. I'm so happy to see maybe about a dozen close friends in the back of the room, fellow telescope enthusiasts. The telescope and astronomy stuff, that's my bag, that's our bag. But I'm glad that I wasn't the first person to refer to collecting as a potential illness. Sir, you did that. Was it a disease? Yeah, you did. And because, see, I was tempted to bring that up. But the compulsive nature of this, if there are some among you who know what we're talking about.
All of us.
Yeah,
well,
I can dig it too. But see, with cameras, you know, it's not, maybe, I would like to presume that it's not so bad. But no. I mean, I'm talking about in terms of individual mass, perhaps. It's not that often, I imagine, that your latest addition to the collection weighs 10,000 pounds. I am going to circulate up through the dome if you have time, because we have a wonderful modern telescope up here.